Picture two lavender plants, same variety, planted the same week, 10 feet apart. One is a silver green cloud, thick as a bush, blooming so hard the bees can't keep up. The other is a handful of brown sticks with 3 sad leaves clinging to the bottom. Same sun, same rain, same gardener. The only difference is what happened in the first 30 days. And almost nobody gets that part right. Today I'm giving you 5 secrets that turn lavender into the one plant in your garden you can actually neglect on purpose. Secret number 4 is the one that kills more lavender than drought, frost, and pests combined. And almost every pruning guide gets it backwards. Stay with me. Before we get into it, drop your USDA zone in the comments right now. Lavender's biggest enemy isn't cold, it's humidity. So the advice that saves your plant depends entirely on where you're standing. I read every single one. Secret 1. Plant IT, WH ear, Evarianting ELSC, Steerudge Gilies. Lavender isn't a garden plant. It's a rock dweller wearing a garden plant's clothes. Here's what most gardening content never tells you. The advice to give lavender full sun and good soil is technically true and practically useless because good soil for most home gardeners means rich, dark, moisture-holding soil. And that's exactly what kills it. In its native range, lavender grows out of thin, rocky, alkaline soil on sun-blasted hillsides where nothing else survives. It didn't evolve to be fed. It evolved to be ignored. When you plant it in your best bed next to your tomatoes and hostas, you're putting a desert plant in a rainforest and wondering why it's miserable. The mistake almost everyone makes, choosing the prettiest spot instead of the harshest one. People tuck lavender into a shady border because it looks nice there, or plant it in the same rich compost-amended bed as the rest of the yard. Here's your instruction. Find the spot in your yard that gets a minimum of 8 hours of direct sun, and where water never puddles for more than 5 minutes after a hard rain. If you have a south-facing slope, that's your bed. If your soil is thin, rocky, or bad, that's not a problem to fix. That's the spot. Cultivar note, if you're working with poor soil already, skip the fussier English types and start with Lavender Grosso instead of angustifolia varieties like Munstead. Grosso tolerates a wider range of soil mediocrity while you're still learning your site. Quick one. What's the worst, driest, most nothing grows here spot in your yard right now? Tell me in the comments, because that might be your new lavender bed. Secret 2. Beweld a hill, not a whore. Most planting advice tells you to dig a hole and drop the plant in. For lavender, that's a slow death sentence. Here's the mechanism. Lavender doesn't die from lack of water nearly as often as it dies from wet feet. Its roots need oxygen more than they need moisture, and a normal planting hole acts like a bowl. Water runs in, has nowhere to go, and sits directly against the crown. Rot sets in at the base long before you ever see it in the leaves. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Amend your planting area with coarse sand or fine gravel until roughly 40% of the mix is grit, not soil. Then mound that soil 3 to 4 inches above grade before you plant, so the crown of the lavender sits on top of a small hill, not in a basin. Water runs away from the stem instead of pooling at it. The mistake: people amend the soil correctly, then still plant at ground level or, worse, in a slight depression to help catch water. That single decision kills more lavender than a hard freeze ever will. Concrete instruction: mound height of 3 to 4 inches, grit ratio of 40% by volume. Spacing of 18 to 24 inches between plants for airflow. Secret 3. Stop watering it like a normal plant. This is the one that surprises people most. After the first month, you should be watering lavender far less than instinct tells you to. Here's what nobody explains. The wilted, grayish, tired look that makes you reach for the hose is caused by overwatering in the vast majority of cases, not underwatering. Lavender roots are built to pull moisture from deep, dry soil in short bursts, not to sit in consistently damp ground. The mistake: watering on a schedule. Every 2 or 3 days, out of habit, the same way you'd water annuals or vegetables. Here's the actual rule. For the first 3 weeks after planting, water deeply once a week to establish roots. After that, water only when the top 2 inches of soil are completely dry, which in most climates means once every 2 to 3 weeks in summer and close to 0 times in winter. When you do water, soak the area once, deeply, then let it dry out completely before watering again. No rain for 2 weeks? Fine. No rain for 3 weeks? Still fine. No rain for a month? That's when you check the soil, not before. If this is saving you from a mistake you've already made, hit subscribe. We post a new plant-specific deep dive like this every week. Secret 4. Pure and hard, BUT, never, into, THE, wooed. Here's the secret that kills more lavender than winter cold ever does. And it happens 2 years too late to notice. The reframe: most people either don't prune lavender at all, thinking it's low maintenance, or they prune it once and stop there. Both are wrong, and the plant pays for it eventually. The mechanism: lavender only produces new growth from green, leafy stem, never from old brown wood. Left unpruned, the plant keeps pushing new growth higher and higher on top of last year's growth, and the base slowly turns into a hollow, woody ring with no green left at all. Once that woody base can't support new shoots, that section of the plant is gone permanently. Unlike a rose, it will not regenerate from bare wood. The mistake: skipping pruning for a year or two because the plant looks fine, then trying to fix a woody, splitting plant by cutting hard all at once, cutting straight into the dead zone and killing branches that were still alive. Concrete instruction: prune twice a year. First cut in early spring when new green growth appears, removing about 1/3 of the plant to shape it into a tight dome. Second cut immediately after flowering ends, removing spent flower stems plus another 1 to 2 inches of green growth. Always leave a minimum of 1 inch of green growth above the woody base. Never cut into bare wood. Do this every single year, starting the first year you plant it, even when it feels too small to cut. Secret 5. MEH-THE variety TO your ACTUL slimate. This is the secret that decides whether the first 4 even matter. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes at the nursery: buying whichever lavender looks best in the pot that day, with zero regard for whether it survives where they actually live. There are 3 groups to know. English lavender angustifolia types like Munstead and Hidcote is the most cold hardy, reliably surviving down to roughly zone 5, and has the best flavor for culinary use. But it struggles in high humidity and hot, wet summers. French and Spanish lavender Stoches types, with the rabbit ear flower heads, are stunning but frost tender, generally only reliable outdoors in zones 8 to 9 or as a potted plant elsewhere. Lavender, the hybrid group, including Grosso and Provence, handles heat and moderate humidity far better than English types, and is generally the most forgiving choice for beginners in zones 5 to 9. Concrete instruction: if you're in a cold winter climate below zone 6, choose English lavender. If you're in a hot, humid summer climate, choose lavender over English types, regardless of how tempting the English varieties look at the garden center. If you're anywhere with hard frost, treat Stoches types as annuals or container plants only. Here's your complete checklist. Plant it in your harshest, sunniest spot, mound the soil so water runs away from the crown, water deeply and rarely instead of on a schedule. Prune twice a year without ever cutting into old wood, and pick the variety built for your actual climate, not the one that looked best at the store. 2 questions for you. What zone are you gardening in? And which of these 5 secrets is the one you've been getting wrong this whole time? If this helped, subscribe. We break down exactly why plants die and how to keep them alive every week. Now go find the worst spot in your yard, because that's about to become your best one.